Stewart from the Canberra Times.
Thanks, Minister. We now know things are much worse than we thought they were going to be. Isn't the fastest way to cut down on carbon emissions just simply to say, right, no more coal mines? It's all different. You know, there is a reason. There's a reason that absolves you from all previous qualifications that you've given. It's something new.
No, we're not going to start breaking promises. And I think any government that 6 or 7 weeks into its new term starts breaking promises is headed for trouble. We made a promise on zero net emissions with an interim target of 43% carbon pollution reduction. We will keep that promise. On the issue of new coal mines, mining's been a really important part of Australia's prosperity for decades, for generations in fact. And mining will continue to be an important part of Australia's prosperity. There are some people who would say we shouldn't have any mining anywhere. It's just not a sustainable or reasonable proposition for a modern economy like Australia's to say that. We are responsible for the carbon pollution that we emit here in Australia. Of course we need to take account of that. Of course we need to reduce it. We have ambitious targets for reducing it. And we need to be part of a global effort as well. Having ambitious domestic targets allows us to be more activist in the international sphere with countries that continue to see very substantial increases in their domestic pollution emission. But just as, Korea, Japan, Germany, America that export cars to the world aren't responsible for the emissions of every car they export. We are responsible for our domestic emissions, and that's why we are focused on bringing down our domestic emissions.
So Australian coal is good coal?
I'm not going to have a game where you put words in my mouth. That's really not productive.
Andrew Tillett from the Financial Review.
Thank you. And also Vice President of the Press Club. Minister, thanks for your...
Just saying, Jane.
Sorry.
No, just up for election later this year, which...
I want to know what your election policies are.
Very pro-coal, for one thing. Anyway, particularly in the Canberra cold here at the moment. Anyway, back to your speech, and you talked about increasing the national estate and protecting 30% of land and oceans by 2030. What's the current, I guess, baseline that we're starting from in terms of that protection, and what does protection actually mean? What does it look like? Is it about acquiring land from private landowners and making it national parks? Is it about putting restrictions on activities such as land clearing or logging, extractive industry, buying out commercial fishing licences, that sort of thing? Can you give us a bit of a sense of what you're actually looking at doing in that space?
Yeah, I can. We're actually doing pretty well on oceans. In fact, we've already hit and exceeded the target on oceans. On land, we are still a fair way off. We're at around a quarter, and you think, oh well, the difference between it's kind of 26, 27% and 30%. That's not much. It's quite a lot when you talk about the whole Australian landmass, and the kind of low-hanging fruit has already been done. So it won't be easy to expand the national estate, and we'll look at all sorts of ways of doing it.